absolutely need you on growth committee. One thing with it, if you're gonna see some things different, this year and how we all participate in growth, we already got some great people participating in there. Listen, I'm really honored to have just a few minutes with you, on behalf of, just the leadership movement from the Agent Leadership Council. And I'm a little bit humbled, to be honest with you, on what to share, and so I was thinking about this, and I'm gonna tell you a quick story, and then we're gonna talk about what it really means. So when I was a young man, that wasn't very long ago, I remember hearing a story, and where's Howard? Howard, stand up here by me for a minute. You look at that picture right there, what does that remind you of?
Howard.
Come out here by me, brother.
Flow free.
Tell us what that emotion that brings into your life right there, that story. Mr. Drill Sergeant.
It brings back the days of, hey, Private, come on, give me 20. You know, but no, it's one of the, actually probably the most influential 2 years of my entire life, being able to take young men and women from every walk of life and take them from poverty, take them from more, take them from little, and mold them into one team, into one family, and to get them to think like one person and to serve our country willingly. So yeah.
It's always impressive to me that what the military does is it takes people from all different kind of economic classes, social classes. So by the time of that 2 weeks, a month, how long is that going to last?
That's 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
That's 2 months.
There's really not a lot of disparity between that family feeling, right? But here's the story that stuck with me. It was about a young cadet, and he had this really aggressive drill sergeant. I don't know who that was, but that's why I have you standing up here. But here's what was going on. It was you need to do your pull-ups, and he didn't have much capacity. And it becomes somewhat humiliating for him, to be honest with you. But he was so doggone determined that he'd just hang on to the bar. He couldn't do the pull-ups, but just hang on to the bar. And he observed something. And I remember hearing this story when I was a young man. He observed that when the person let go of the bar, he was humiliated in front of all of his peers, and he was had some extra duty to do the things to say. He says, I am not going to let go of the bar. So the story was, I heard him tell the story, he said, I did jump up on that pull-up bar, and I did as many pull-ups as I could do, and then I just hung on. And other guys would come and go, and said, I just hang on to the bar. And pretty soon, the drill sergeant, just out of desperation, would say, all right, go on your way. He said, and I never got pointed out because I would just simply hang on to the bar, right? I'm just sitting there, hanging on. So thanks, Howard. So I made a decision in my life that no matter what I was going to do, I may not be the best at it, because I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I am going to hang on to the bar. I'm just, so I think, we talk about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, right? That 20% do 80% of the work. Well, I'm going to suggest to you that 80% of the job, Stan, is just showing up and hanging in there. And when you're around good people, then things start to happen. And I observe when I sit there at the bullpen and I watch people come and go, I see some that say, well, the people that are there, it's because they don't have anything to do. Well, I don't think that's true. I think that the next best alternative, what we call opportunity cost, might not be as good for them as it is for you, but it's still the best alternative to learn from their peers and kind of grow. And what they're doing is they're just kind of hanging in there. And one by one, I'm observing success happening by those who are willing to hang in there. So I have a younger brother. I mentioned that, we come from a tough place. 9 siblings. My mother had 16 foster kids who lived with us over the years. She's a saint. We didn't have any money. nobody in my family had gone to college. And quite frankly, nobody in my community hardly went to college. And so I was busting a barrier to say, can you go to college? And I went to college, I paid my first month's tuition, and I had $20 in my pocket. Right? That's how it was gonna be. Well, it's not a story about Jonathan, but my younger brother saw his older brother finish college. And he said, if Jonathan can do it, then I can do it. Now, he came and lived with me for a while because things fell apart back home, so forth, and we helped give him some money. But I wanted to show a picture for a minute. We don't have this problem here. Society doesn't exist in such a way that, we have a different place. But every couple of times a year, he goes down to Honduras and other countries, and he works on people that they've never walked in their life. And never had the opportunity. And this is what he sees, right? All the time. And then that's the final product. I'll show you other pictures of it. But here's what happened. He said, Jonathan, I can't go to college. I just don't have the ability. But he did it. He didn't just go to college. He became a pretty acclaimed surgeon. And it's kind of fun to watch. So what's the character that Matt Roberts has that allows him to do this now? I think it's the most significant attribute that any of us could have. And I think it's one of the greatest contributions that my parents gave to me. And that was just simply this: stick with it. Just stick with it. I mean, a lot of people are going to tell you you can't do it. The reality is, just stick with it. Right? And you're going to see it through. So it's fun because in the ALC right now we're reading a book. And it's a fun book. And it's, if I were to identify one single attribute that was more significant than another, this author has characterized it. And and you'll see it around the office, and I encourage you, it's this one, it's called Grit, the power of persuasion and perseverance, or passion and perseverance. Angela Duckworth is the author. And here's the story she tells. She says, I went to, what's the academy school?
West Point.
At West Point. And she said, I looked at all of the application process for West Point. And they made an evaluation of SAT scores, leadership ability, all of this criteria that they evaluated people to set them into West Point. And then she said, on the back end of that, I evaluated the people that succeeded. Right? And I made a comparison. Guess what the correlation was? Nothing. The ones that had all these intellectual skills, leadership, other things, there was no more of a propensity for them to succeed than somebody else. She says, I did have a sense that there may be some kind of other indicator that would determine their success rate. And she identified it, and she called it grit. Just the ability to stick with it, right? To hang in there and to persevere and recognize there's a way to get through this. And I think it's very applicable for realtors. Business, 80% of businesses fail, 20% succeed. Realty is a business, so the failure rate's high. And it's because of the low grit factor, quite frankly. Now, there has other components too. It has to do with sustainability. Do we have enough depth to kind of work through this, right? And pay the bills. We all recognize that. But the reality is that it has a lot to do with perseverance. So, did you pass that by any chance? Could you happen with that real quick? So I want you to look at this because I went and got this grit scale, and let's look at this with me. I'm going to hand this to you. Okay? Follow way to determine your grit score. Is that all right? Now, let me ask you a question. Does that scare you or encourage you? Before we do it, let me just tell you, this is what's interesting in all of her work, is realizing that the grit score can change. Right? It's a learned behavior as well as an attribute of where you're at. So think of this, we go through it. So all I want you to do is to give you your first impression. Don't worry about, analyzing, saying, coward, I want to score high on this, so I'm going to answer what I think I should answer than what I really do, right? Put on here what you think. So let's just walk through it real quick. Number one.
So what's high? 5 or 1 or what?
So high is 5 would be higher than 1. Obvious.
But it reverses on each one.
Why does that?
Well, 1 is the best. 5's the best. Okay, 5 is a higher score than 1. Fair enough? We'll keep it real simple. So number 1, new ideas and projects sometimes distract me from previous ones. Just give yourself a good answer. Just circle 1. Number 2, setbacks don't discourage me. I don't give up easily. Number 3, I often set a goal but later choose to pursue a different one. Number 4, I am a hard worker. Be honest with yourself. Number 5, I have difficulty maintaining focus on projects that take more than a few months to complete. Number 6, I finish whatever I begin. 7, my interests change from year to year. 8, I'm diligent. I never give up. I'm going too fast. 9, I've been obsessed with a certain idea or project for a short time, but later lost interest. 10, I have overcome setbacks to conquer an important challenge. Okay. Now for all the high SAT scores, add them all up. Just add up your score. Do the math and put it at the bottom. What's that?
Go back 1.
We good? Okay, now once you've added them up, now divide it by 10 and give yourself a score. Okay, here's the scale. So you just divide by 10, gives you a score. Recognize the maximum score on the scale is a 5. The lowest is 1. So a 1 person's not very gritty. A 5 is like awesome gritty. You get it? Make sense? So here's this very test that you've just taken was given to a large population of adults. So who wants to volunteer a score? Please, Jill.
Okay, I'm 3.8, so I'm 50% gritty.
So 3.8 is right here, right? What does 50% gritty mean? That means that Jill is in the upper 50%, and she is 50% more gritty than most of her peers. So if we were to divide this room in half right now, you'd be on the gritty side versus the less gritty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You follow me? I think the point, again, that's important to recognize here is that this just has to do with your own perseverance and our own willingness to say, let me just push through this process. If I don't know what I need to do to get done, what am I going to do? I'm going to go find somebody. I'm going to find an Eddie or somebody else that's going to show them. I'm going to come back and talk to Jonathan in the office in the back room. I'm going to do whatever is needed for me to figure out. I'm going to persevere to get through this one. I'm not going to stop. And it is my passion. Whatever my big why is going to drive me no matter what. Right? And in the long run, that's how it shows up. So I wanted to just give one comment in closing. I know I'm taking quite a few times, but in when we went to family reunion, last time I went, I scheduled a flight out early. That last day is not gonna be that important, it's just a devotional type of arrangement. What do we call that?
Inspirational markers.
Inspirational, and Mo sitting that second picture in the back, Mo with her arms folded on culture, she was facilitating that, you know. Last time I left, this time I decided to stay and go. I gotta tell you, Cindy, you were there with me. I mean, to watch the number of whys that developed is absolutely a manifestation of grit. Right, the stories that are told. And Mo, she ended up giving about $125,000 of contribution to the people on the stage that were right there from the KW culture, if you will. And actually from her checkbook and her husband's checkbook as well. Very much worth the time because it was a manifestation, if you don't mind me using that word, of the grit of individuals and their own big whys, if you will. So my simple message from the ALC is, guys, this is a phenomenal showing today in the Market Center. It's good to see it. We're a family. That's what that whole culture is about. We're ready to share. And if my younger brother couldn't have done it, and he wouldn't have if he didn't have some encouragement, there are a lot of lives being affected because of what he did. The same is true for every one of us. It is a privilege to be in the real estate business, to help people with their most significant equity purchase in a lifetime, often which gets handed from generation to generation. And it is an honor that they would invite you and I to tutor them through that kind of business.
Okay.
And if we don't recognize the significance of that, then we're in the wrong business. It's an honor to be in their homes, and that's how I feel about this industry. And that's why I'm so passionate about the way that we act and what we do, because it's good for all of us when we're Keller Williamized, if you will. Because there's a good sense of caliber, if you will, of the people that are participating. So anyway, thanks for being here. That's my thought. That's what the book looks like. You want to see it. And last thing, perseverance is not a long race. It's just many short races, one after another. Sometimes it links forever, but just recognize one after another. You can get there.